Hello and welcome to my channel. Here I review new movies and television shows and talk about them. Today, I want to discuss Guy Ritchie's new film, Operation Fortune, Ruse de Guerre. For those of you who don't know about Guy's work, he likes ensemble casts, quick witty dialogue, and overly complex stories. Operation Fortune, Ruse de Guerre, is a Mission Impossible style spy film with a team of spies working together to stop the world's most dangerous men from getting their hands on a stolen superweapon. The group's got Jason Statham as Orson Fortune, the leader, Aubrey Plaza as Sarah, the snarky computer whiz, Carrie Elway as their M, Nathan, and Bugsy Malone as the awkward hired muscle who can do anything, JJ. The team faces off with a notorious billionaire arms dealer played by Hugh Grant and recruits a famous actor played by Josh Hartnett to infiltrate his inner circle. A top secret device was stolen from a government facility and the team is tasked with finding out what it does and what Grant's character wants with it. The story has them flying all over the world to plant bugs on people, stealthily follow their targets, and hack into their systems. We also get a few fistfights and some mindless gunplay that sees Statham and Malone cutting down hordes of henchmen like they've got the latest aim hack installed. They never miss, never hurry, and always have the perfect plan and reaction. 50% of the film is people explaining what something is, what the plan is, or how something works. It stops every other scene to let a character do some long drawn-out exposition that doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. Most of the explanations are incredibly simplistic, and some of them are downright nonsense. Any of the scenes involving hacking are ridiculous, and the film manages to run through just about every bad hacker trope possible. We never spend any time with any of the characters learning about their personalities or motivations, and so basically every character in the film feels like a side character. There are no main characters, just an ensemble cast of stereotypes. The stereotypes aren't even particularly interesting, as they're all remixes of characters from popular spy franchises like James Bond and Mission Impossible. We have the femme fatale mixed with Q and Sarah, Bugsy Malone's JJ is just another James Bond, but awkward with people, Nathan is Charlie from Charlie's Angels, but more useless and drunk, and Statham is playing the same character he plays in Fast and Furious, the Transporter, and basically every single other film he's ever been in. He's snarky, overconfident, and good at fighting. The story is filled with coincidences and plot holes, and basically everything works out exactly the way it was planned, with only a few minor mistakes made for the sake of a joke. You never fear that Orson and his team are going to fail, because the bad guys are completely and utterly incompetent in every way imaginable. The villains aren't interesting, they never do anything beyond the initial theft, and the twist was so obvious I almost overlooked it as a red herring because of how in-your-face it was. Lo and behold, the story really was that simple. The film doesn't really have any emotions in it beyond snark. We never feel a sense of danger, never care for any of the characters, and we never loathe the villains. There's just no emotion behind any part of the story. It also wasn't all that exciting. There's a lot going on, but none of it has any impact or weight. You know Orson is going to win every time, the film doesn't even challenge him. The only members of his team who fail are actual side characters who show up on screen once and are then promptly never seen again. No characters get hurt, except for the henchmen, and the team pulls skills out of nowhere in moments of crisis. It's like watching Superman fighting a group of babies. He literally can't lose. The cast gets to do almost nothing with their time on screen. Hugh Grant plays a slightly charming, pervy old man. Aubrey Plaza does her usual snarky hot girl shtick. Jason Statham is Jason Statham, and even Josh Hartnett, an actor I usually respect for how much depth he puts into his characters, plays a vapid one-note character. There's literally nothing for them to do beyond playful banter, and without spending any time with their characters, none of them are memorable or stand out in any way. Their performances work well enough within the context of the film, but in the end, they're all just playing boring stereotypes. Production-wise, the film does a good job representing the story in a smooth and simplistic way. It gets across the story and has a few decent action sequences here and there. There isn't any weight behind any of it because of the writing, but the shots themselves and the choreography are done well enough to be enjoyable. None of it stands out though. It's all very generic hand-to-hand fighting and guns that have no recoil, no smoke, barely make any noise, and leave tiny bullet wounds. They never focus on the bodies long enough to see any wounds or blood, so they might as well be shooting sleeping darts at people. The soundtrack is a mix of original songs that pop up for a scene here and there, and instrumental background tracks that sit in behind the action sequences and tense moments. It all has a generic feel to it and almost feels like an afterthought. It kind of works with the scenery, but combined with the writing, it just doesn't have any real emotion behind it. The tracks tended to be quiet and somewhat repetitive, and none of it stands out as significant or impactful. In terms of entertainment value, this film is just another mindless spy movie in which a team of Mary Sues runs around, trying to recover a superweapon that none of them understands well enough to explain, and fighting their way through hordes of henchmen who just stand there and take it on the chin. It's not particularly exciting and drags its feet for a long time after the opener. It's not trying anything new or experimental. The cast is all doing repeat performances with no emotion behind them, and even the jokes are somewhat dated and cliche. I struggled to make it through the film as it really doesn't have anything to offer. I'd recommend passing on this one. 3 out of 10. Remember though guys, these are just my thoughts. If you felt differently, let me know what you liked about the film in the comment section down below. That's it from me. Bye bye!